Hey, Matt, will Jair be activated today?
Yeah, he will be.
Bill Huber.
Hey, Matt, where are you guys at COVID-wise over the last couple of days?
That list is continuing to get longer, unfortunately, but it is what it is. I think we're somewhere around 15 right now.
Mike Spofford.
Hey, Matt, not that the Vikings were going to go away from the run regardless, but with the struggles you guys had against the run last week, they're getting cooked back with what the weather is going to be. You just have to go into this feeling like they're going to be committed to that running game for 60 minutes.
I think they always show a good commitment to the run game, and certainly when you give up as many yards as we did last week, and how we fit some of those runs, they're going to test us. So we're going to have to prove that we have got things corrected, and it's going to be a great challenge for our defense, because I think up front, when you look at the Vikings and their they do a great job in run blocking, and then these backs they have are premier backs in this league. Obviously Cook, but you can't sleep on Madison either. So it's going to be a great challenge for us.
MK Burgess.
Hey, Matt, Justin Jefferson obviously was a big problem last time you guys faced off. What have you guys learned since then in order to eliminate him as a big threat?
Well, it's almost like you got to pick your poison. Are you going to put more in the box to try to stop the run, or are you going to try to double cover Jefferson? Because he's proven he is one of the best receivers in this league, and it's a challenge, because there's just talented players in the run game, and then they got talented receivers or weapons in the passing game. I think Conklin's done a heck of a job at tight end as well. Obviously, Thielen, everybody knows about him. So I just think as a defense, you've got to try to change up your looks and give them, whether it's different personnel groupings, you just got to try to mix stuff up as best as possible to really try to take away both. But if you just sit in single high, then they can beat you with a pass. If you sit in too high, then they can get after you in the run. So it's going to be a great challenge for everybody involved.
Rob Domofsky.
Hey, Matt, you mentioned the other day that the Vikings have gotten you the last two times. I know they were both one-score games. Anything that you've noticed when you've gone back and looked this week at, anything common in both of those games from your guys' perspective?
Well, if you go back to last season, I think it was a game where they absolutely controlled the football. The possessions were at a premium, and we didn't convert on a couple in the second half, and we ended up losing that there with an opportunity with the ball in our hands in the 2-minute. But and then this year was just a story. We started a little bit slow. They got out on us, and they just had so many big plays. So we're going to have to do our best to eliminate those big plays, and then offensively take advantage of every possession, of every opportunity that we possess the ball. And then on special teams, we got to continue to, see improvements. I thought last week was, for the most part, was pretty solid, and it's going to be a good challenge this week. I think, when you look at Minnesota's kickoff return, they're second in the league. I don't even want to attempt to pronounce 26's last name, but he is a baller. 2 touchdowns on the year, and I think he started playing in October. So it's really a great challenge in all 3 phases.
Mark Daniels.
And Matt, get back to Jair. Can you shed any light on how you plan to reintegrate him? I mean, is it going to be a gradual process, or once now that he's active, he's good to go for as long as you need him?
No, it's going to be gradual, and when he's ready, then he'll be available. But I think it's just more or less making sure that everybody feels comfortable with where he's at, and making sure that he's good for the long haul.
Steve McGargy.
Just wondering, the other day you had said you might take some more steps if you got more COVID cases. I'm just wondering, is there anything y'all have done in terms of isolating position groups, maybe having virtual meetings, or any extra steps you've taken this week?
Well, we're pretty fortunate that we have a facility that can accommodate us just in terms of the space of making sure that everybody's spread out. I think our guys are doing a good job of wearing their masks. But yeah, we are doing, we will do more virtual meetings post-practice potentially. We really kind of left it up to the position room in terms of how they would like to do it. But like I said, we've got enough space in this building where we can accommodate in-person meetings.
Tom Silverstein.
So, Matt, some guys will be in and some won't, in other words, depending on what position they're
Yeah, and that's all post-practice. For all our installs, we did them in person, and we kind of cut down a little bit of the time, and then we're going to just we got to be really efficient. So we've kind of shortened the day for the guys a little bit in some regards. We're going to go over there across the street and practice, and then the post-practice is really up to the position room.
Just to follow up, where is Bhaktyari stand? And then also, are you ready to open up the window on Myers yet, or is that still off the ways?
Yeah, David's doing well, and we'll see where he's at. Just taking a day at a time with him. As far as Myers, we're not quite there yet, but we're hopeful that eventually he'll be able to go.
Wes Hodkwitz.
Hey, Matt, over the years, when we've asked you about the offensive success, you've always kind of tipped your cap to the assistants you've had there. I'm just curious how you've seen that core sort of grow together with your staff, and just how much of an impact you think the stability there has kind of had on your success.
Yeah, I think it's had a tremendous impact. And it's not just the staff, it's everybody. It's our players. It's a total collective effort. Obviously, we've got some really premier players, some of the best in the game at very key positions, obviously. But I think that, there's always a transition. I think year one was a transition for everybody involved. As a staff, we're learning each other. We all came from different backgrounds. None of us, outside of myself and Justin Outen, had ever worked together before. So there is a process there in terms of trying to, get everybody on the same page in terms of what we're trying to get accomplished from an identity standpoint, the communication involved, the coaching involved. Obviously, these guys all have a big hand in this, and they all contribute. And then it's incorporating new ideas, some stuff that was certainly new to myself. And how does that all mesh together? And, we've got great leadership there with Nathaniel Hackett. He does a great job of kind of taking everything and meshing it together. And, it's been a great, I would say, time of growth for all of us, all our coaches and players. And, when you get people that are on the same page, that care about one another, these guys spend a lot of time together, not only in the facility, but outside of it as well. And allows you to work through some adversity together, and you just continue to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. And I can't say enough great things about our staff and about our players. We've got great people.
Ryan Wood.
Matt, I want to ask you about DeVante, but real quick on David. Is he going to practice today?
Last I heard, David was not going to be practicing today.
As far as DeVante goes, I know he always plays well. So asking about how well DeVante is playing it's an evergreen thing. It can happen at any point. But he's been on some kind of tear these last 5 games, and obviously with the coverages he's getting. Have you seen anything click for him, especially in terms of getting into the end zone and in the red zone with him?
I wouldn't say I've seen anything in particular click. I think he's always been clicking, and he always holds himself to such a high standard. He just walks the walk. He holds the guys in that room to a high standard, and he holds himself to that standard. And he goes out there and competes on a daily basis in practice, does a great job there. I think that's where it starts. But the rapport that he has you know, not only within his room with the other guys on offense, but with Aaron is something that I've never been able to witness something quite like that before. Just some of the plays that they're able to make together. I don't know if there's a defense for that. So, you know, he is obviously a very special player, and I think it shows itself every time we get out a chance to go out there and compete. He's always playing at the highest of levels, and we're just lucky to have a guy like that.
Matt Schneidman.
Matt, I know we've asked you a lot about all the change at your two tackle spots. Excuse me. But what do you think just about the steadiness you've gotten from those three guys on the interior these last couple months?
Yeah, no, I think all those guys are growing and coming together. Obviously, you know, Royce Newman and John Runyon are younger players, but I think we've seen a lot of progress throughout the course of the season with those two guys. And Lucas is just, he's kind of the glue guy, man. He holds that whole group together. He brings that grit, that toughness, the way he competes, the way he cares about his teammates. And he's been doing it for our whole time here, really, together, especially the last 2 years. So I think Lucas is playing at a really high level. And, you know, we're fortunate that we have a lot of great people in that room.
We'll do two more. Bill Huber.
Hey, Matt, back to COVID. What did you think of the NFL's policy change and how that could positively impact you guys?
Yeah, certainly. I think it can positively impact everybody, but especially with our situation right now, this is kind of uncharted waters for us. We haven't had that many cases before, but so it is what it is. I don't really have a whole lot of thought on it other than the fact that those are the rules, and we'll do our best to, you know, try to keep everybody safe and, you know, try to avoid it as best we can. But I think this is something that is unavoidable. As you guys can see, it's not only sweeping across our league, but you see it in other leagues, you see it just in society, and that's kind of where we're at right now.
And last one, Rob Domofsky.
Hey, Matt, one more offensive line question. Is Billy Turner going to practice, or is he still a little bit of ways away?
Yeah, he's still a little ways away, but again, he's made really good progress from what I've been told. And, you know, just when I see him every day, he's grinding, and, you know, we're hopeful to get him back sooner than later.